Hey, so let's look at the course outline. And make that given. Make a good car and go again. Subject good car and go again. So, thing you have to put that thing you put a key on like how you get the marks, rubric, and so that's essential. So here, wait. I think that's a small mistake in what I'm showing you. Let me see what you already downloaded this thing.
Yeah. The mark says 35-20.
That's all right. No, not only that. There's another problem here. Oh, that's okay. You're talking about this,
Yeah.
No, it's correct.
Doesn't add up.
No, it's not that. Type on I can see that.
Yeah.
No, put it type because your course is slightly different to what I'm doing in Colombo. Make a rank. So I will tell you what it should be. This is 50 anyway, right? So what should be is 30-20. Make a 20. 5 right? 30-20-50. Exam is 15. Alright? Okay? 30-20-50. Right. No, what I said is some of these things are made different because of practicality. Because you see, it's easy to do group work and all. Meeting and all that, you all meeting, I don't know, in previous batches, these are some of the practical issues we encountered. So therefore, getting out to meet often is not always very practical. Am I right? Right, so therefore I've changed a few things to how it happens in Colombo. For example, this was also a group assignment, I made it an individual assignment. Case, then those becomes excuses as well. Then put experience and Dubai. Third time I have come in. So anyway, make a 30-20-50. Yeah? Okay? Make a question. Still queue with the So let's look at what those are. First one, what a keyword. How many of you actually didn't read? Active keyword also? That one again, make a product. People go on me. I do not make a keyword. Make කරන්න game. Whether actually they not keyword. Every keyword නැති කට්ටිය අතසනක කිව්වේ. Although I'm going to kind of explain, you still have to read. Quickly if you read it. Can you quickly read? The ones who didn't read and even the ones who read, right? Now I've said Sri Lankan because I know you all are here, but I feel although you all are here, you might find it easier to do this for Sri Lankan companies than companies here.
Yes.
Because companies here, nana prakara maybe has industry Oh, I will compare. Hey, all of them industries. Compare. I'll tell you, if you are wondering money, you can take banks, you can take finance companies, you can take insurance companies, you can take hospitals, you can take hotels. Yeah. You can take plantations. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And India finally, there was Sri Lankan money. So I think it's better to connect with some annual reports over there. Right? Not that you can't read it, but I'm feeling, not that I'm against it, but I think it's easier for you more than anything else. Right? To pick an industry, I just rattled out about 6 or 7 industries now. Right? Banks actually on 2 groups doing it, I don't mind. Some can pick the top banks and local banks, commercial, HNB, Sampat, Ceylon, and then Union, Pan Asia, ASETEC, NDB, NTB, So, insurance companies, finance companies, LB Finance, Mercantile Trade. Then you can take insurance companies, you can take hospitals with hotels, you can take city hotels, resort hotels, but if you take hotels, rating has to be the same. If 5-star, compare 5-star. You can't compare Kingsbury with Renuka. That's what a case, right? You understand? So, but there are still enough hotels. Resort, man, they have to be resort. If it's resort 5-star, resort 5-star. You know, they may be in different places, but you know, so you can compare Andalam with Lighthouse kind of thing. But some of these hotels you may not have a separate annual report, but there are enough. Where you have the annual report, so you need to find. Then you need to compare 5 years the information, right? Now, what you are going to do for this assignment in terms of the financial analysis? Sir, maybe now I've given the mark breakdown. How you are going to learn the marks? Make a financial analysis here is actually a lesson. Is lesson number 3. So by end of tomorrow we would have covered it. Yeah. Right now it won't make sense because you have not done something called ratio analysis. Once you've done the ratio analysis, financial analysis part will be clear. Actually, financial analysis you do for the company as well as for the industry. So item 2 and item 4 is one and the same thing really. It's just that you do for the company and you do the same thing for other 3 competitors. So the same analysis you do for them also. But you compare that with this and comment about the main company in relation to them. But to do that you must learn lesson 3. Well, on accountants. Okay? So, but by the time you finished it, this will be okay to you. Right now you won't understand, the accountants will understand. And I will, because we have a lot of accountants in the class. Put your hand up again, accountants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now there are now 10 groups here. I mean, based on the numbers. So we will form the number of groups as well. How many are there in the register list?
You already have.
We have 6.
You already
You already have 6 groups.
Yes.
And how many members are there in each group?
Average
6.
Average 6. Just ensure that one of these blokes who are accountants are also in that. The අපේ game එකක්වත් නැත්නම් ඒක case එක. එතකොට මේක වැඩිට අච්චාර වෙනවා.
We have one full group of CAs.
නෑ එහෙමත් ඒක වාතයක් වෙනවා HR වගේ කරන්න ගියාම. ඒක කොහොමද ඒක පේන්නේ. sorry නෑ cost control numbers HROB marketing or by the way I'm teaching 5 different MBA programs in Colombo. PI is one and it's only at PI I teach finance. I teach OB, marketing, strategy. I'm actually qualified in 4 disciplines, by the way. Okay? Enough about me already. So I know what these other subjects are because I teach in some other institutions. But at PI I teach finance. Go to Kottawala Defense University and ACB. I teach some of the other units. Okay? So, numbers. Must have variety. But at least ensure that there's one of these species for my subject. In your group. Right? So, the rest of it, non-financial analysis and all that is based on, how they are doing in terms of corporate social responsibility areas, how they are looking after the people, awards they have won, brand recognition. If you read the annual report, you will see what some of these other areas that are used to compare and contrast performance. When it comes to financial analysis, there's one thing that you have to keep in mind. When you are doing for a particular industry, I'll tell that once I teach lesson 3. Thank you for the lecture theory. Just remind me if I forget. Okay. After I teach lesson 3, just say, one of you just remind me that I'm supposed to give you instruction about doing industry specific ratios. It's okay, then I know what to say. Even thank you both. One of my inspector I did a team so bounce back, so in the I'll explain that, then it will make more sense. Thank you. Non-accountants will want the what they give you. Yeah. It's now, back in Colombo, all the groups come and present. The me present unless I come again and have a separate thing. That's not part of the model. So I've changed the thing. So you're not going to have a presentation where you come and present. but you got to prepare a PowerPoint. Plus, you got to prepare a report. Because PowerPoint is sketchy, no? I want to prepare a report. Now, back in Kalam, they will prepare a report. They just do the presentation, but they will present. Rather than they have a presentation, you speak to any other people there, you will know. They have every member in the group has to present. Make him run the back because practically you have to adapt the model. But I want to write a report based on again presentation explain me areas cover in the end. It's like right? Because finally I'm going to give marks for these areas. No matter what else you do, you won't get marks, you have to do these things. Second assignment. So first assignment I have explained, but if you have questions you can ask, no problem. Even after I go back, I'm still available on email. I have a personal email, you send there. Reply on. My personal email, anyway, now that I'm talking about, I'll tell you. It's Mario, M-A-R-I-O. M-A-R-I-O. Assignment is real. Mario.fons@yahoo.com. Mario Fonseca, Mario and Fonseca at yahoo.com. So you can mail me. Now the second assignment is a learning diary. Learning diary you see, one thing you will notice is now if you had downloaded, if you had looked at all the PowerPoints that are uploaded, it's the hard one. Now even the 3 weeks that I'm not going to do, the PowerPoints are there. Before I came, I did the video material for that. The all presentation presentation subjects topic. The guy there is right now editing it. I think the first one is already done. He has sent it to me, but he gave him a mail. So anyway, that will be uploaded. Something like what Professor Dharmasiri did. Not something like exactly like what Professor Dharmasiri did. Only thing my videos are a little longer. His one's about 20 minutes. By the way, there's a subject called micro expressions. I know that a little bit. And you can tell a person's emotion by looking at facial expressions. I'm going to introduce that to Sri Lanka as well. Not that I introduced as an expert, I brought the experts from Europe and so on. So the macro expression on that card. Subject but I know his ones are about 20 minutes. My ones are about 40 minutes plus. And I think there's one which is almost, but remember that's a 3-hour lecture still. If you come to Colombo, it's a 3-hour thing. Because when you start interacting, it takes longer time. But when I'm just speaking to the camera, it takes less time. So those will be uploaded. Okay? And so if you, and that is done slightly differently to Professor Dharmasiri's one. Because there I am seated on this side and the projection is anyway here, so sometimes it goes there, sometimes it comes to me, and so it's easier for you to follow. This one was more only him talking and you have to follow the PowerPoint separately. Right? Anyway, so he was a kind of improvised from because the guy who did it, he said, fine. So anyway, so that will be made available. Go through that. So this is basically coming back to what I was saying. If you looked at the PowerPoints, you will realize I don't have a lot of PowerPoints. Again, in each, now there are 10 no? The number of slides is very few. 12, 13. In other words, what I'm trying to say is this. Now, this is very important for you to understand. My PowerPoints are, you may not like it, but anyway, don't worry. You will still learn the subject. My PowerPoints are not necessarily for you to study. My PowerPoints are for me to deliver the lecture. It's for me to deliver the lecture. So I look at it and start talking. So in class, I'll say a lot of stuff outside that. So since I'm videoing and all that, most of the time I think we'll be doing something else because I tend to come here. I think right. Anyway, so the point is this. The point of this assignment is for you to have a note. You get it? So that you have a note to study. So I want you to kind of elaborate what we do in class as an entry, learning diary entry. That's what this is all about. Again, I want you to note. So that will be much more than the PowerPoint. It will be elaborate, it will include everything that I say. That will be very useful for you to study for the exam as well. Okay? Alright, so that's the idea. Okay? Right, so make it another app. But I want to do this individually. Okay? It's an individual assignment. Because you must write your note too. Okay? Clear? Any questions? Is this clear? Okay? So it's an elaboration of the discussion. You base it on the PowerPoint. एक सेकंड लग करके ना मस्ती करता है उधर Godzilla के निकाल देना इस सेकंड लग आर्टिकल. Okay? And it's for you to study itself. And I want to see how much you assimilate. I can see by that how much you actually gain from the topic and how you have understood the topic. Clear? Alright. Yes, any questions?
Any examples we have taken?
Again?
Like practical something, like work in extra things.
I still don't understand what you're trying to ask me.
Like what they are learning.
Yes.
They will
No. The topic. You say today's discussion was on financial statements. And we learned that there are essentially 3 financial statements. The first being profit and loss account. You know, name. Practical example, one I think some are points explained and you can bring in. Okay, and I said if you look at the rubric for this, marking rubric, you will see additional reading. Again, apart from what I say, for you to do a little bit of research and bring it in, but additional stuff that you bring in must be still within the framework of what I am saying. Again, what I am trying to say is, now if you go and read a book on finance, do you get what I am saying? What you need to do is, within the topics that I am working with, extra explanation, example, or whatever case situation, you can add it. But still, the skeleton has to be the same skeleton. You can't change the skeleton and create a different creature. You can't bring in things from another topic and all that, or which is not related. Just read a little bit and see. But anyway, that's not the biggest part. I want to see whether you assimilated what we have done here. Okay? I have specified the deadline for both the subjects. Now, this is something I am very serious. Huh? Remember, it's deadline, not a live line. Dead. So, then other deadline. Please don't ask for extension. We cannot ask for extension for our death. I will not give extension. I am telling you today. There's a lot of time from today till the exam. I have very carefully thought of these dates. Looking at your exams, looking at the fact that I know other lecturers are also going to come in the future, and how much of time you have from now until then, till the deadline. So if you have say some other lecturers coming and that is happening round about the time you have to deliver this thing, start working on it now. Don't ask for extension or deadline. Huh?
Not on the same day.
No, it's not on the same day. Just check.
Individual, you have specified 12th June.
No,
On the individual, you have mentioned.
I thought I put this.
Learning diary, yes.
Learning diary, it's 12th June.
Yeah. Okay, then that's my mistake. But again. When is the other lecture coming?
First weekend of June.
First weekend of June.
Sorry.
12th is 1 week after that. He's not there during that weekend, no?
Yeah.
He is there during that weekend. No, he is there before that.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. But the thing is, you see, I thought your exam is going to happen right around the same time as Colombo. Okay? It might be on the same day as well. June, I don't know. so then forecast එකට ගිහලා deadline දැම්මොත් එතකොට මේකක් deliver කරන්න ඕනේ පාඩම් කරන්නත් ඕනේ කියලා එතකොට මොනක් case වෙනවා. So what I suggest is
Both contract.
huh?
Both contract is okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, okay.
It's annual.
දැන් ඔක්කොම okay කියන හැබැයි තාම දෙකම කරන්න බෑ සර් කියලා කට්ටිය ඒ දවස් වල එනකොට වෙනම සින්දුවක් කියනවා මම අවුරුදු 22ක් ලෙක්චර් කරලා තියෙනවා ඔය නෑ කිව්වට අනිත් දේ ඔයාලා පොඩ්ඩක් ටික මැචුවර් ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස් නේ කියන දේ අහන්නත් තිබ්බා අපි
Doesn't add any value.
එහෙමනම් first down first හැබැයි ඒක මිස් කරන්න එපා එතකොට දැන් first of June අරක 12th of June. So there will be gap both, right? And please don't ask me for extension, then it's not going to happen. Because exams are, then he's going to come, then he's going to give you other work. Exam, I don't know. Deadlines are deadlines, huh? Okay? Right. Now that you sorted that out, spend some time on it. What about question, Question? Hi. I'm ready for this. So, finance. Now, when we talk about finance, I'm going to start with what's called accounting. Now, you see the connection involved. Okay? See the connection involved. Accounting is considered what? Okay? Yeah. By the way, when I deliver the course, this particular course, okay, I will get you sometimes to do a little, I'll get you to say. Now, I wanted you to say this. The reason is, especially for the non-accountant, not too much today's lesson. It's over the evaluation. If what's the technical terms, no? The make a technical term, but it's a technical phrase. But please say it, then you get used to it. Then it will be easier for you to write the exam. You know, especially if you're non-accountant, say it. Accountants are key and so what is it again? Language is what? What is the language? What is the language?
Tool to communicate.
Exactly. It's a medium. It's something that we use to communicate. So this communicate part is very important because business performance, yeah, business performance is fundamentally communicated through what?
Numbers.
Numbers, yes. What are those called? Financial statements. Financial statements you talk. Go on. Okay? Accountant. Non-accountant accountant. So you want to say financial statements are what communicates the performance. So that's why we say accounting is the language of business. The medium through which we communicate is financial statements. Financial statements is the output of accounting. Financial statements is the output of accounting. And if financial statements is the medium through which we communicate business performance essentially. Yeah? You can have triple bottom line, green balance sheet, green triple bottom line income statement, balance sheet. Green. You want to say? Remember, green balance sheet, triple bottom line again. One of the bottom line is what? What are the three P's in triple bottom line? Triple bottom line triple bottom line people, profit, planet. Is it a profit? A profit profit. Profit is for shareholders, people is for your employees. That means you have to today you have to perform for employees and planet. You can for future generations, sustainability, green this, green that. Okay? So triple bottom line profit and also remember this, triple bottom line people and planet take the work around the profit net company. You profit net planet take the work people go up the work profit net profit net So with doing actually people profit to people connect to profit to that profit net. That's the hard and fast, situation. People don't talk about it like that because very commercial, very individualistic, you're trying to take from society. In the forums of planet people you can't do anything there if you don't have a profit. Very simple. Okay? That's why we say it's a limit of business. Okay? Right? Good. When the definition then? What about immediate given? So, the American Accounting Association is saying accounting is what? Is a process. Process can be a set of interrelated steps or activities. What's the process? A set of interrelated activities. So we'll see what these activities are. So accounting has a set of interrelated activities. Identifying can make it. You see, when a transaction happens, the accounting systems must recognize it. Yeah, in a transaction. Here's a sale, here's a purchase, here's a loan. You can't say what I call, you can't have an oops moment. Oops, we missed it. Oops, I guess we missed one. System nowhere in the world does that happen. No company has, if an accountant has put the systems in, you will never have a situation where they say, I missed it. For that we didn't have the system, we have transactions picked in hand. Because all the types of transactions that can happen are accounted for today. Purchase, the sale, the whatever gets picked up. It has to get identified. That's the first point. So that's the first step in accounting. You must identify. Here's a transaction, here's a transaction. Because there are times when it's not a transaction. Okay, HR manager comes and says, people are most valuable asset. Yes, good, but not in my balance sheet. Accountant says. Okay, then again, Hari, when put not take in on it, then when put the accountant here again, but not in the balance sheet. So that's not a transaction. Brands, marketing people comes and say, your accounts, you have all this furniture and machinery. Brands are the most important asset. Yes, but not in my balance sheet. It's not a transaction. Yeah, brand equity, balance sheet to the now, if you've seen brands being put in a balance sheet, we're ready under do you understand? In other words, green accounting, brands, people, value, some other modernized balance sheets, modernized P&Ls, other companies, all those companies that prepare like that, they also prepare the traditional one. Some only prepare, not all. Accounting convention told up, Santos HR, marketing, people, brands. Even actually, permanently, when we make up the shareholders, we make a do you understand? This doing research, there are companies who sometimes show that to the shareholders also. Because now there is a whole movement and sustainability, when we cut you and put it in sustainability. So, the only thing you got is but accountants will still prepare the traditional one also. They will not stop doing that and doing it. See, if that happens, then it's a radical change. That has not happened, and I don't see that happening. Okay? Because accounting systems, the practices that are there, are sometimes very, very established ones. They are out than taking up. You know that double entry, debit credit. How old do you think it is? Roughly 1 century. Accountants again. Look up as well, double entry. Look up as well, Italian priest. You see, those days, it was the clergy who had knowledge, whether it was Buddhist priest or Christian priest or whatever, clergy had knowledge, you know. So he was actually a mathematician. He also has some math stuff, okay. He was more than maths, but I know he has, you know, contributed in that area as well. So which year was this that he came up with all the double entry, debit credit? Long time ago, 1494. 1494. 1994 was out of the month year. So yeah, but this has the double entry. Other, yeah, keep both my current. In more than that, I'm not sure what is modernized and we are being also. You see, because of course, it is the Western don't know. He must say keep both the other valid. He couldn't have seen some of the transactions that will happen today. But the principle that he came up with, it works perfectly. Asset increase, debit, liability increase, credit, that works perfectly for any type of transaction. So, that kind of thing I'm not going to change. Okay, so anyway, we need to identify transactions. Measuring, always transactions have to have rupees and cents value or dirham and what is the? Fils. Dirhams and fils or dollars and cents value. We cannot record anything that is not financially measurable. Measuring can. So that's another transaction, another activity that we do. We identify, we measure. That is actually the reason why brands are not recorded. Brands you can't objectively measure. You can measure. You can't objectively measure. How much is the brand worth? That depends on whom you ask the question. For example, say, for a company like Coca-Cola, who is into beverages, if they are trying to buy, let's say, Pepsi shop for sale, the value of Pepsi for Coca-Cola may be high, right? But for a company who is not into say beverages, say Toyota wants to buy Pepsi, they don't have much value, right? Make it kind of thing. Yeah, it's an established brand, but it doesn't complement their business too. But a fellow to whom it complements, there's greater value. So it depends on whom you ask what the price of a brand is. You know what I'm saying? So why we say, or the accountants say, you can't objectively measure it. The word objective is important. You can measure, but accountants want to objectively measure. They want to be able to verify. Accountants are people who want to verify. There are two groups of professions who always want to verify things. Accountants and bankers. Okay? How many bankers is it? One in the back. Who wants to come and verify. You see, accountants and bankers, one common thing is they have documents. Paper. No document. No, cannot release that. Bill of lading is not there. And you understand? Reluctantly okay. So that is because things have to be verified for them. You understand? In banks, there's a big word called compliance. A compliance verification, proof is very important. Accountancy proof. Right? That's why people can't, they don't put values for people. How to verify? What is your value? You work for a company, yes. Your value depends on whom I ask. Your boss might have a certain value. Your junior might have a value. If I ask, I presume you're married? Yes. If I ask your wife, hopefully she should give the highest value. But I'm not going to. So, it depends on whom I ask. They are not getting. You can value people. The HR profession has come up with various techniques. Because the officer might come and say, technique. Even good accountant, because then
IPL gives.
Mukha dunna taige kenewak kenawa IPL එකක් තිබුණා David Woodruff taige එකක් කියයි. Because it's a man-made system. The entire world can't agree. Entire business community can't agree on that system. That's why කොලයක් තියනවනම් accountants කැමති. මේක transaction එක proof. Receipt එක check කියන්න බෑ. You understand? Expense claim කොහෙන් voucher එක. දැන් voucher එක පොඩි තේ කැඩගෙන එහෙමනම් දෙන්න බෑ. එතනින් හරි පොඩි අස්සනක් ගාලා මේකක් දාලා receipt එකක් ගන්න කියන්න. You understand what I'm saying? Verification, because auditors are they are the ones who put it up now. I thought they can't say, "यहाँ पे इन्हों sales manager को कहो आपका तो documents डालने के लिए क्या है?" Because auditors ask them questions and they are at fault for not ensuring the systems are followed. Even if it was not him or her who actually followed the system or didn't follow the system, more precisely. Okay? And communicating. Finally, P&L's balance sheets communicate. Okay? How well the business is performing? It's communicated. So that's another activity. But there are more activities than this. We will look at it a little later. Communicating what? Economic information. I told you it's rupees and cents stuff. To provide informed judgments and decisions by the use of information. Why do you do this? To allow the people who use accounting information to make informed decisions. Informed decisions. You are not making decisions based on whims and fancies. You look at the data, you are informed. Okay, this is what's happening. That's what's going to happen in your assignment, hopefully. The group assignment where you're going to look at an industry and compare performance. So then you have an idea. This is what's happening. This company is doing better because of this. This is what has happened during that year. Okay? Alright. And also accounting becomes the raw material for financial management decisions. Accounting feeds the raw material for financial management decisions. Did you get that? In other words, financial management decisions is like, essentially, we will learn that hopefully day after, or maybe You see, financial management is essentially about this. Can you look at me for a second? It's about sourcing and deploying funds. What is financial management essentially? Sourcing. Very simply, in language everybody can understand what I'm saying. But sourcing and deploying. Decisions pertaining to sourcing and deploying of funds. Deploying can also be called investing. Is financial management. To make some of those financial management decisions, the raw material, the data is accounting information. When you look at the balance sheet, when you look at the P&L, you see things that causes you to make a financial management decision. Example, you look at the balance sheet, you realize, my God, our assets are old, better replace them. So replacing assets is a financial management decision. Why? It's an investment decision, no? Deploying money. But it was based on the information that came out of the P&L or balance sheet, more correctly balance sheet. Did you understand that? When you look at the value of the assets, if the asset value is low, fully depreciated or whatever, you realize, okay, we need to upgrade assets. Got it? That's how it works. Now, accounting has two branches. I want you to say this. What are the two branches? Come on. Financial accounting and management accounting. Again. Financial accounting and management accounting. So accounting has two branches. Accounting. But finance, when I say finance, it has three branches. What are the three branches? Financial accounting, management accounting, and financial management. एक या ने, highlight isn't it? So it's something like this. You have finance. Divided into accounting and FM. FM meaning financial management. Accounting is financial accounting and management accounting. Remember? That's what it is. That's how the subject is divided. Maybe another alone. Seesaw. That's it. Finance is accounting and financial management. Accounting is financial accounting and management accounting. Now you might be wondering, what is financial accounting, management accounting? Now we're going to look at that. Okay? We are going to look at that. Okay? So this is what it is. Alright? Okay? So far so good. By the way, the non-accountants, I'm saying you, at any stage, don't think, no, let him speak, I kind of figured it out in the end. No, this is not a subject like that. If you have a doubt, doubt Not a question we have to ask. That you can wait until I finish the sentence and ask the question. But if something you don't understand, I say, don't think you will understand it eventually by the end of the lesson. No, by the end of the lesson, it will be terrible. Don't go there. Alright. Here's a more comprehensive idea about financial accounting. Is put in here. Not about reading the words, so understand what you're reading. What do you mean? What are you reading? More than it is. Last year, no, very much. Great. So what do you grasp from this? Financial accounting essentially is what? Is about record keeping. It's about ensuring that transactions that took place are in fact recorded keeping. Double entry comes into play. Debit credit comes into play. And transactions are recorded. They are summarized. Profit and loss accounts are prepared. Balance sheets are prepared. Right? Financial accounting का purpose से होगा. Are you with me? Recording financial transactions or recording business transactions financially. Right? That's the main purpose. Whereas management accounting is what? Look at this. Now you see a clear difference here. Sorry. Users मतलब क्या है? ERS नहीं. People who use the financial accounting statements. First of all, management, board of directors, shareholders, competitors, suppliers, distributors, students. Students are not a very key stakeholder, but general public. All of them are users. Okay, in a way, now when you look at the annual report, you are also using it. You are using it to understand finance. No, still you are using it for a particular purpose. Yeah. So what is management accounting? Look at what management accounting is. Yeah. Management accounting is essentially about making decisions, making managerial decisions, helping that. So what does management accounting do? Help managers to make managerial decisions. Help क्या नहीं है? Where there is some financial analysis to be done. Not make decisions के लिए क्या नहीं? Replace the manager क्या नहीं? In other words, where there are some numbers to be considered. Management accounting will give you the analysis and say, here. Okay. So when that is there, manager can say, alright, okay, so this is the better one, no? Okay, it becomes obvious. So what happens in management accounting is this. Okay? Management accounting has what are called management accounting techniques, MATs. Right? What is MAT? Management accounting techniques. Each of these techniques helps. Okay? Each of these techniques help managers to make decisions in different areas with regards to different aspects. I mean, we will learn a couple of them in this course. When you make an investment, how do you make a decision? We will learn. That will be the last lesson on the last day. Okay? When you make an investment decision, how do you make a decision? There are two assets to be bought. You buy A or B. A has a life of 5 years, B has a life of 6, 7 years. The costs are different, running costs are different. How do you make that decision? Budgets is another area. Then contribution analysis. You don't know what these are. Contribution giver, I don't expect you to understand that. We will look at that. But the idea is that you will know how to decide when each of these techniques give you the analysis. So management accounting helps you by giving you answers through the management accounting techniques as to how to make managerial decisions. Okay? Clear? Right. Started at 6:30, ne? So if you take a break at 8, that's fine, no? Right. Financial management. We'll look at this and take a break. Okay? Here's what financial management is. Essentially, financial management can make it. Okay? Sourcing, deploying. Okay, sourcing, there are two sources, two main sources. There can be many different sources, but overall, go to the equity, debt. Equity can when the owners give money. Shareholders take an ordinary shareholders, not preference shareholders only. Preference shareholders is also type of debt. Debt can be when you take money from banks, where you pay interest, debentures, bank loans. So that is debt. So essentially, what is financial management? Sourcing your funds through the two sources and then deploying it or investing. Financial management is right? Now, out of these three areas, remember the most serious area is this. Now, for example, if you take an accountant, say a guy qualifies as an accountant, okay, passes out. Now he's working in the finance department. The last area he or she will have exposure to is this. Again, qualified to make a part of the lock, stock, and barrel. Are you with me? When you are in the finance department, in initial stages, you will get to do some financial accounting, most of them. Maybe a little bit of management accounting, but no financial management. I can remember me as a financial accountant, not financial accountant, as an accountant. Now today again, in 2000, I think I achieved this. I'm a fellow member of CIM, which is the highest status in CIMA. But my first exposure of financial management is, you know what? I was fully qualified accountant by that time. At Richard Pierce, my manager gave me, you handle the petty cashiers. Petty cashiers, petty cashiers are Richard Pierce. Petty cashier operation is petty cash bank account मुझे petty cash handle करने की बल्ला तो मैं ओकर बैंक अकाउंट है तो नहीं तर साली वैल्यू देगा नहीं या मोकर इंदले इतना साली दांगा but from there then later you will go into negotiation and issuing of shares and private placements ये आपको करना बस at certain point in your career but fully qualified होना पड़ेगा मतलब में debit credit करने मतलब because the thing is this you take these three areas now what are the three areas first one मालूम है तो क्या financial accounting. Second one, management accounting. Third one, financial management. The easiest place or the least damaging, let me put it that way, the least damaging place where one can make a mistake is financial accounting. आइए, financial accounting में आप कराने में entries दाने का debit credit करो. एक बार तो debit credit taking में कहाँ दाने पड़ो? I'll give a classic example. Banks, I don't know if this has happened here, but sometimes this happens. You have a savings account, right? Savings account you have bank statement current account. Mokre interest no matter when 10,000 ये बड़ा 10,000 आणि पत्ती इदान दियो गया एक तो आता नहीं एक मोबाइल निकल दे ये वाली चीज़ रिवर्स कर ला हर एक रिवर्स आएगा financial accounting is the easiest place to make a mistake. You make a mistake as long as you realize it. You reverse it. Debit करके credit कर ला credit करके debit करवा cancel है मैं you understand saying? So because customers will not think very well of that bank, but it's not the end of the world. But if you make a financial management mishap, it could be something close to the end of the world. You want an example? Remember a couple of years ago, back in Sri Lanka, there's an organization called Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. They went and did something called hedging. The hedging hedging it's a way of reducing your exposure for foreign exchange risk. Then he was going to get $11 trillion. You understand what I'm saying? that loss is a national loss because petroleum is either national asset or national liability. So, and after that incident, the GM Finance said, he didn't know, he didn't understand the flip side of hedging. GM Finance. GM Finance he was got in trouble, he was also put behind bars, I don't know, they still behind bars. You get what I'm saying? So, so that's why the most senior people like finance directors, financial controllers, finance managers, they are the fellows who handle this. Just because you're fully qualified, you won't get to handle this. Because it's dangerous. Management accounting, if you make a mistake again, it's a managerial decision that is wrong now. Still, it may be a little more serious than financial accounting, but still may not be as bad as a financial management decision. Right. What is this word? Out loud.
Bookkeeping.
Right. Let me explain something. I told you I'll give you a break. At that time. We'll have a break. Then we'll come back and look at it. Bookkeeping versus financial accounting. Say the first word.
Bookkeeping.
I thought I can. First word can bookkeeping. First word bookkeeping. Now this particular word is not used much today. That is because of a particular reason. Those days, there was a position called bookkeeper. As what?
Bookkeeper.
Bookkeeper. Then a position in company. Because of IT or developments in IS, information systems, specifically in the area of accounting systems, you don't have a person like that because that person's job is now automated. But that doesn't mean there is no function called bookkeeping. It's just that it's now done by a computer, software. You get what I'm saying? It's not that it doesn't happen, but there's no person called bookkeeper. But you need to understand this. So let me explain it this way. Alright? Bookkeeping and financial accounting, the best way to understand it is to think of it this way. If this is financial accounting, FA again financial accounting, right? This is bookkeeping. There. It's a part of financial accounting. Versus it's something that is within. Let me explain. Look at the term. Say it again.
Bookkeeping.
Name it again.
Bookkeeping.
Bookkeeping. Keeping books. Keeping books. The mono books mean. The double entry books. The ledger. Again, debit, credit. Okay? So, actually, what most people understand as financial account is actually bookkeeping. Again, until you prepare the financial statements, which is the profit and loss account and the balance sheet, or profit and loss account is also called income statement now, and the balance sheet, is actually what? Bookkeeping. What is not bookkeeping but still a part of financial accounting? That is where these things come in. Listen, analysis has to know that's what you are going to do. You are going to take the annual report and what are you going to do? Analyze. That is not bookkeeping, but that is still financial accounting. You analyze, evaluate. Analyze, you look at what has happened. Evaluate, you look at why it has happened. Why? And then making decisions. Analysis, evaluation, and decision making pertaining to the financial statements or the information contained in the financial statements is still financial accounting, but not bookkeeping. Bookkeepers those days just would prepare the P&L balance sheet. They won't even tell whether it's good or bad. It's done. It balances. It's right. They are not supposed to comment. That's the financial accountant's job. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now you understand what these two terms are? So the essential record keeping part is bookkeeping really. But we don't have this word today. But I still like to talk about it because just because there's no bookkeeper, it's not that the function is not there. It's just that it happens in a computer. That's the only difference. Using software. Alright? Clear? Okay. Scope of financial accounting. So, what does financial accounting really cover? It covers all record keeping pertaining to business transactions. All record keeping pertaining to business transactions and reporting on the financial performance of the organization. So both record keeping and financial performance. Not all performance, but financial performance. Communicating the financial performance. That's why preparing the annual report and doing all of that, and even what you all are doing or what you are going to do, the assignment, the group assignment, that's a part of financial accounting. So there are two parts: record keeping, analysis, evaluation, interpretation, and you can add the word interpretation also. Okay, interpretation, analysis, evaluation, and decision making. So all of that is the scope of financial accounting. Okay, right. Financial accounting business stakeholders. You come across this word, right? What's the last word there?
Stakeholder.
Stakeholder can go. Somebody is holding a lamb steak. Holding a steak. Who's a stakeholder? How to define a stakeholder? Yeah, someone who's an interested party or someone who's interested in the activities of an organization. That's a popular definition, okay? Everybody knows this. What's the definition? Anyone who has an interest in the activities of an organization. At PIM, we want you to be a little more than the popular definition, okay? So that is right, not that it's wrong. But there's another one. Can you tell me another definition for that? Now, one definition is to say a stakeholder is anyone who has an interest in the activities of an organization. That's correct. Nothing wrong with that. Fine, but let's get our sorry. ඒක පොඩ අර කාගෙත් සුන්දරී වගේ ඩෙෆිනිෂන් එක. හැම කෙනාම දන්නවා ඒක. ඒක PIM එකට එන්න ඕනේ නැහැ කියලා. මේ so now you need to tell me something more than that. There's another definition. It's not difficult one, but it's not so common. Huh?
People
Not
who
this-
involve the people who involve in that cycle of that organization, what they are doing.
You have the idea, but your choice of words is not the best. කියන අදහස නම් හරි ඒවයි.
Business partner.
No, tell me in a sentence. Somebody who's a business partner. The idea is still there. Okay, let me put it this way. The best way to say it is anyone who is affected by the activities of an organization and who in turn affect the activities of an organization. ඒ කියන්නේ organization එක කරන දේවල් මේ කටට බලපාන. මේ කට්ටිය කරන දේවල් organization එකට බලපාන. තේරුණාද? Think of any stakeholder and see him වෙන්නේ නැද්ද කියලා. එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැද්ද කියන්න මට කියන්න. Again, all stakeholders. What are examples of stakeholders? Shareholders, employees, distributors, suppliers, government, supply chain partners, customers. Okay, ඔක්කොම කට්ටිය stakeholders නේ. ඒ ඔක්කොම අඩම වෙන්නේ නැද්ද? ඒ කට්ටිය කරනවා ආයතනවල බලපානවා. All what they do affects the organization. What the organization does affects them. That is why they have an interest in the organization. Alright. First definition is true because of that. So, what's the second definition? Anyone who is affected by the activities of an organization and who in turn affect. Some people, without using the word affect, they say influence. Come on, man. Still same idea. In other words, anyone who's influenced by the activities of an organization and who in turn influence the activities of an organization. Alright? ඒක එච්චර පොපුලර් නෑ. ඒක අර කාගේ සුන්දරී ගතිය නෑ පොඩ්ඩක් ඒ ඩෙෆිනිෂන් එක. ඔය කට්ටිය හම් පොඩ්ඩක්. වැඩිපුර දැනගන්න බෑ. හරි. yes. ඊටගෙන හරිය. ඔලෙවල් ලෙවල් කරපුවම තමයි ලංකාවේ. right. සර් කියන්නේ අපි ලියා ගන්න. නෑ just kidding. I know I said that too fast. Anyone who is affected by the organization, by the activities of the organization and who in turn affect the activities of the organization. ඒ affect කියන වචනේට influence කියන වචනේ දාන්න පුළුවන් කියලා මම කිව්වා. ඊටු ටික ඔහොමම තියලා. දැන් ගොඩ නේ. අද මොනවාගල දාන්න කිකයි නේ. කියන්නේ. ඕක 65 වුණත් අපේ කට්ටියම තමයි. ප්‍රශ්න නෑ. මමත් එහෙම තමයි. හරි. දැන් මොනවද මම ලියන එක නවත්තලා තියෙන්නේ. කියන එක පටන් ගන්න තියෙන්නේ. Right, now just like any other subject, accounting is also affected by the environment within which it operates. Okay? So, have a look at this. This is taken from a book by a Sri Lankan professor in finance. I think one Vijay, I forget the first name. Anyway, doesn't matter. What he has said is what is most important. Accounting area, there are three areas. What's the first one? Business environment. This one? Regulatory. Again, මේ environments තුන මුලින්ම accounting වලට effect එකක් තියෙනවා, impact එකක් තියෙනවා කියන කියන්නේ. And then the wider society also is affected කියන කියන්නේ. So let's look at these three areas. Right? Let's take the business and environment first. ඒ කියන්නේ මේකයි. You see then when it comes to accounting, now let's talk about the debit trade. The entries that you have itself are affected by the type of organization you're talking about. Example. So if you're a sole trader, my car, my petrol story, then you have the right to take things home. Let's say a typical situation, we'll say you have a shop. We'll say grocery shop. Wife calls and says, "Wait, there are PT and there are no PT. Owner can take PT home. He can take anything home. So then we account it as drawings. Drawings ka kya pintura neme. DRAWINGS kya gatti na. The fellow is taking things home. He can take money home. He can take things home. Got it? But in a public quoted company, if the chairman's wife says there is no milk powder at home, he can't go to, we'll say, Cargill's or Mr. Page. He can't walk into Cargill's and I'm chairman of it. And if he take the milk powder home, my wife wanted. He'll give him the bag. He'll have to pay the staff rate and take it. There is no transaction called drawings. He can't take things home. Are you with me? This is just an example. There are so many. Okay? The type of transaction is different, therefore entries there. So the type of entries are affected by the type of organization. Limited liability companies don't pay corporation tax. Sorry, not corporation tax, but is it? Doesn't have things like debenture interest. They can't issue debentures. Public quoted companies can issue debentures. Now we look at what debentures are later on. Okay? It's a nature. The nature of the business affects the type of transaction. So even the double entries are different. Different again, not that you debit when you create here. Certain entries are not there. The entries that are there are different depending on the business. Sole trader partnership, you don't pay corporation tax. Sole traders and partnerships, when they make profits, they don't pay tax on their profits. Private companies and public companies pay tax on their profits. So then the sole trader partnership, the sole trader pays income tax on the profits of the sole trader business. He takes all the income, it's his my car, my petrol, he adds it to his personal income and he pays income tax. Partners also same in a partnership. They add it to their personal income and pay income tax. There is no corporation tax. Got it? Okay? The accounting differs due to the nature of the business. That's what this area is. Okay? Got it? Easy? Next one, regulatory. You see, if you want a profession that is regulated highly, accounting is one. It's a highly regulated profession. There's a lot of self-regulation plus external regulation. Now here you can see both self-regulation as well as external regulation in the 3 points. Company law, is it self-regulation or external regulation? External. Company law, accountants, that's part of the Companies Act. Now in Sri Lanka we have what is called the Companies Act of 2007. Before that it was 1982. Okay? From 1982, we didn't have a Companies Act, then 2007 we had a Companies Act. Now that's what is there. So company law affects, right? Because here we are talking essentially about, because MBA against sole trader partnership. So Companies Act affect not because you are talking about private limited liability companies and public limited liability companies. Essentially. So MBA Act sole trader connect on. You don't work for a sole trader. Okay. Accounting standards, is that external regulation or internal regulation? No, internal. Within the profession, Baba. I'm saying internal can within the profession. Not that Mata Ma regulate can okay. If I'm an accountant, the accounting standards is a part of the internal regulation. Internal can it's a profession regulating the profession. The standards are developed by the accounting profession. International Accounting Standards Board that's an organization made up of accounting bodies. See, Chartered Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. So, organizations. So, the accounting profession is what is represented there. That is internal regulation. And there are many standards. Now, if you take Sri Lanka, it's the Institute of Chartered Accountants. CA, Chartered Accountant. So the Chartered Accounting body in Sri Lanka has standards. I think 40 right? So each of those standards tell how to do certain things, certain transactions, how to record, what to do, what is allowed, what is not allowed. Clear? Accounting is a highly regulated profession. Financial accounting in particular. Self-regulated. In other words, if you as an accountant, now say for me, if I'm in, now I'm not involved in actually within the finance department. Today I'm more of a trainer. I do a lot of soft skills training and all of that. Today actually, although I teach you finance, when I talk about my training, I'm more into other stuff like emotional intelligence and a lot of other stuff. Because I'm also certified psychometrician from British Psychological Society. So I do a lot of other stuff, emotional intelligence, personal development, leadership and all that. So, but the point is this. As an accountant, if you violate any of this stuff, like the second one, violate kuru ganinda puluwa. Iku devunna. Kuru ganinda puluwa. Ai hoda deka vidara karanna bෑ එතනට ගියාම. කූරු ගණන් ඉන්න පුළුවන්. මේක කරුවා violate කරුවොත් කූරු ගණන් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Accounting profession will expel you. You understand? So the profession can expel you from your membership if you violate accounting standard. You can be expelled from membership for ethical reasons also, but that's a separate matter. But accountant and question must follow the standards. You are bound to follow the standards of the profession. If not, they can take it out. Okay? Third one, CSC again. Colombo Stock Exchange. If you're a public company, when you go and list yourself in the Colombo Stock Exchange, they will put extra requirements. Company law standards additional and listing then. You understand? So to be listed, you have to do certain things. If not, you will be delisted. Okay? To be listed and delisted. Got it? To be listed, to ensure that you are listed, you have to comply. If not, you will be delisted. Be taken out. So it's highly regulated. Okay, accounting profession is one of the high. Because of this regulation only, accountants also, are very, generally very stiff and stiff, non-cooperative. Again, they are not the most flexible of fellows. Last one. Make an internal, international. International. In other words, here I am talking about from a Sri Lankan point of view. I told you this was a Sri Lankan author who came up with this model. What they are saying is that the accounting in Sri Lanka is affected by the international environment. Like what? First of all, international accounting standards affect Sri Lankan accounting standards. Now, it's already happened. Sri Lankan accounting standards are fully in compliance with the international accounting standards. It started to happen in 2005, I think somewhere around 2009, fully it was done. Then fully compliant. Alright, so international accounting standards have a way of affecting the way accounting is done within Sri Lanka. British influence, whether we like it or not, we were colony, and they were the last fellows, and they had us for the longest time before independence. So their influence is the greater, not the Dutch, not the Portuguese line. But British influence is real. That's why Sri Lanka has the biggest student population plus member population next to UK. And mind you, there are about 160 plus countries where CIMA is examined. Only second to UK. Simuth එහෙමයි. CI මුත් highest student population, highest British influence, whether we like it or not, is there. Okay? ACC, the මෙතන ACC එක කරපුවා ඉන්නවනේ. ACC කරපුවාද සර්? 1. Okay. සීමා කරපුවාද සර්? 1 2 3 4 3 okay 3 4 මාත් එක 4 man, so whether we like it or not, it's there. Okay, it's a huge influence. So counting is affected by all of this. Counting in Sri Lanka is affected by all of this. Again. All right. Now we are going to look at the full list of activities. We said counting definition is a process here. Then I said process is a what? Set of interrelated activities. එතන තුනක් විතර තිබුණා. දැන් මෙතන මුළු set එකම අපි බලන්න. Then some of this you already know, so I don't have to spend a lot of time. First one, what is first one? I wanted to say it. Make all of them. First one is what? Identify. That is something that you already know. When the transaction happens, we pick it up. We don't miss it. Are you with me? I already explained that to you. Brilliant. Second one? Recording. Debit, credit. Now here in this course, I'm not going to teach you debit, credit. You don't need to know. Okay? It's not that important for you to know that the accountants keep doing the debit trades. You know, you won't get to replace their job. They'll get to keep their job. And it's not something that is interesting to know. Okay? Non-accountants know debit trade. Okay? So, there's a principle of how you debit credit. Okay? So, eka thamai my recording here. Doing the debits and the credits. I'll tell you this bit. This is how what happens. Now, this debit credit happens in things called accounts. Got it? What are accounts? Accounts are formats. Accounts are formats where recording is done. That's what an account is. What is an account? It's a format of where financial transactions are recorded. Now, accounts have something like this. They actually look like this. The left side is called debit. Right? Look up actually. Right side is called credit. Right? He said in Latin, debere. Debere. And right side, credere. එකයි ඩෙබිට් එකේ R එකක් නැහැ නැත්තම් එකයි DR තියෙන්නේ මොනවද මම වෙනවස් account student I was always on මේ R එක කොහෙන්ද ආවේ ඩෙබිට් එකේ R ගන්න නැහැ then I realized he was not thinking in English Latin debere and credere right so ඒක තමයි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ so what happens is every account has two sides what you mean by debiting an account කියලා කියන්නේ මේ පැත්ත ලියනවා credit karna it's a format when you enter it on the left side it's called debiting the account when you enter the transaction on the right side it's called crediting the account of course the principle is ek account debit වෙනකොට තව account එක credit වෙන්න ඕනේ එහෙම අපි debit එක විතරක් කරමු එහෙම බෑ නැත්නම් credit එක විතරක් කරමු එහෙම බෑ double entry what is it double entry එක account එක debit වෙනකොට ඒ ගානම වෙන account එකක් credit වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ එහෙම තමයි ලෝක පැසිලිම කිව්වා අපි එහෙම කරනවා. classifying කියනවා classifying take the word itself ඒ වචනේම meaning එක කියනවා. Yeah, putting into classes, categorizing, grouping. Clear? I'll give you one example at this stage. Now already I mentioned the word asset liability, remember? Now when it comes to accounts, there are 4 types of accounts. There are many accounts, you can have a million accounts, but all of them can be categorized into 4. What are the 4? Assets, liabilities, incomes, expenses. So then we classifying. We just classify them. Then assets are fixed assets, current assets. Classifying. There are other examples of classification, but for now, this is enough. Okay? This is good enough. Okay. Huh? Assets, liabilities. Income is opposite. Income is opposite. Expense. එහෙම ලොජික් එකක් තියෙනවා. මුල් ටික අරගෙන ගත්තට පස්සේ ලොජික් එක. opposite නේ. asset එක opposite liability. asset කියන්නේ what I own. liability කියන්නේ what I owe. income කියන්නේ මට ඇතුළට එන ආදායම්. expenses පියදා වෙලින් යනවා. Okay? Good. Next one. Summarizing. Okay, let me explain something that happened. Let me give an example of a summary or summarizing. Right. I want to look at the account again. Okay. So I'll give it a name. I'll call it machinery account. Okay. In accounts, machinery account, cash account, accounts, areas, accounts, So there will be entries here. Those are called what entries? Here again. Debit entries. There can be entries here. They are called credit entries. Now I'm going to give an example for what? Summarizing. You with me? Yes. Now this is what happens at the end of the month. At the end of the month, we look at the side where the value is more. Not where there's more transactions, but where the value is more. So this side which has less transactions, the value can be more. Right? Are you with me?
Yeah.
You look at the side where the value is more. And we add it up wherever the value is more. If this side is more, we add it up and we put that value here. We'll say call it X. Then we put the same value on this side. Now is that correct? Now here putting it is okay because maybe now putting it here, is it correct? Not really, no, they make a good. That's why I said this side is more. No? I didn't say both sides are equal. The main now this is wrong. Correct. Then to make it right, balance carried down. I call it Y. Y now the total is X on that side also. Clear? Balance carried down. Balance brought down. Again, actually this side is more by this amount. Now you understood the meaning of balancing? We are saying that the debit side of this account is more by Y. The way you do it is this way. You get what I'm saying? What we have now done, what we have just done, is an example summarizing. Why? Look here, everybody look. So many transactions. There can be thousands and thousands of transactions here. At the end of the month, all these thousands of transactions is reduced to what? One balance. Now isn't that summarizing? Here are beginning. So many transactions, so many entries have now been reduced to just one figure. Example of summarizing. There are other examples. At this stage you don't know some of those, so here's an example that you can understand. So in accounting we do, in financial accounting we also do summarizing. Alright, clear? Good. Okay. Right? Next one. Ken? Reporting here, P&L balance sheet. You can then analyze current line. That's okay, no? So you summarize and report. Alright? Next one. Analyze, that's what you're going to do for the assignment. You are going to analyze to see whether the financial performance is good or bad compared to the competitors. Okay? Analysis. Evaluation. Why? This is what has happened. Evaluation is how or why. Both. Could be how it has happened or why it has happened. Same thing. Alright? And decision making. All of these are activities in financial accounting. Clear? Are you with me?
Yes.
Brilliant. The process. Now this, just to build on that. The process works this way. Say that word out loud. Source document. Remember I told you accountants love what? Documentation. Source document. Source. Patang ganna dana. Identifying, remember identifying. Identifying when they make it. Because there is what? A source document for every transaction that you record. For every transaction that you record, you need a source document. Now this is how it happens. For each type of transaction. Now there can be many types of transactions, okay? Say sales. What's the source document for a sale? How do we know that a sale has happened? Invoice, sales invoice. For a purchase, what's the source document? Not purchase order. Purchase order හරියට උංග වඩු නැත්තම් එතකොට ඒක source document වෙන්න බෑ නැත්තම් 10ක් ඉල්ලපුවම 6ක් කියවලා නම් delivery order නෙමෙයි. ඒක යාලගේ document එකක් නේ. GRN. නෑ purchase order GRN. අපි අපේ එක accept කරපු ගානේ අපි ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. GRN. Okay, so accountants have figured out the best source document. Purchase order නෙමෙයි. Suppliers invoice උත් නෙමෙයි. GRN. Yeah, මොනවා යවුවත් වැරදි යවුවත් අපෙක් කෙනා නෑ නෑ මේව ගන්න බෑ කියලා අරලා හරියොත් accept කරපු එක GRN. Got it? So like that, I'll just give you two. For every transaction there is what? There is a source document. Some of these source documents may not even be generated by your organization. If they give it. Again, for certain types of transactions, the source document may not be yours. If the transaction was not created by you. Example, bank charges. Bank charges, we wish that it was not there. Bank ko nahi daan. එතකොට bank charge එක අපි දැනගන්න කොහෙන්ද? මොකක් කරා? Across what? Advice, but finally bank statement. Advice also we tell the bank to send, but sometimes these bankers are busy. ආලේ වවන්නේ. Bank statement එක අනිවාර්යෙන් එවනෝනේ. ඒක තමයි මම charge කළා මෙන්න මම charge කළා දාවන්දා. So bank charges you get to know from the bank statement. Bank statement is not your document, but it becomes a source document for your bank charges. Got it? Just an example to show you that source documents need not necessarily be generated by the organization itself. Clear?
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Right. So for every transaction, what the accountants have done is they have picked a source document, and that document becomes the identification point. They ensure that no transaction goes without being recorded. Every organization, whatever country, the accountants ensure that all transactions are picked up because they have kept the right source documents and the accounting system picks it up. That's how they do it. Clear? All right. Source document ek koi record karni. Kya? Haying. Day books or make a two names for the same thing, huh? Day books kiyanat pulon. Journal kiyanat pulon. Now, the මෙච්චර ලේම එකක් කිව්වේ නැහැ. මම දැන් source document එක මොනවද කිව්වේ? මේකනේ කිව්වේ. Up to now. Source document එක කිව්වා. මේක කිව්වනේ. So the day book කියනවා. Look, let's look at wait, hang on. Let's look at what comes after this. Okay? I'll come to this. Look at what comes after that. Everybody. Ledger. What does the ledger have? Accounts. That's where these are. So ledger කියලා කියන්නේ now look, huh? You have sheets of paper. So these accounts are sheets of paper, okay? Now, don't visualize a computerized system. Make a to understand financial accounting, you have to visualize a manual system, right? So, you know, color part, handy cover, okay? And it's a removable state binding. You can sheet hard cover. You can keep adding sheets. Each of these sheets is an account. Right? So, what happens is, actually the double entry goes from here to here. Source document to ledger. Now, what you need to understand is, how is the recording done? Using double entry. I told you every time you debit, you have to credit. It's okay to now just picture this, huh? Let's take a business like a supermarket, Carrefour. And how many outlets do they have? Not only here, everywhere. They are French company, right? And how many transactions per day? Actually, now you go to Carrefour and buy your grocery list. Each item is a separate debit credit. Not that your full bill is one debit and one credit. each of these items is not in one account. Soap and cooking oil is not in the same account. Do you understand? It's in different accounts. So you can imagine the volume of transactions per day. So every transaction now is multiplied by 2. Debit credit look up as usually. Debit credit dekama karanna kiwane. You got it? Ekak karanna bane. So what this stage did is, remember one of the things that we do in accounting is what? We just learned that. Summarizing. What this stage actually does is it summarizes and reduces the amount of entries that go into this. That's what it does. So that the amount of debits and credits is reduced. But the debit and the credit is done finally. Let me give you an example. Now let's take the example I gave you, sales. This is how it happens. Now listen, follow on. For the month, let's take credit sales, not cash sales. No, not the counter sales operation. What I told you, let's take credit sales of a company. Now the two sides of the credit sale is, one is the debtor, or what we call the receivable account. We'll say all of you buy from a particular company. Say you're the company. All of you buy on credit from him. That means you sell on credit to them. So do you or don't you need to know how much you sold to him and how much you sold to him separately? But all of this is what? Credit sales. When you take the two sides, එක පැත්තක් ඔක්කොම credit sales තමයි. හැබැයි each data we have to know. That we have to say මේව එකතු කරන්න බෑ, මේව summarize කරන්න බෑ. Because they are different people. But every transaction මේ පැත්තට යනකොට මේ පැත්තට යනවා. මේ ටික ඔක්කොම credit sale නේ. Do you understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, out of the two double entries, one can be summarized. But the separate sales have to be known as to whom you sold, because you have to know how much he owes you and how much he owes you separately. But all of it is credit sales. So that's one example of this actually. There are 7 day books. How many? 7. Each of these help us to summarize the transactions that are there. Sales day book is one of them, and it does exactly what I just told you. What does it do? It summarizes the sales transactions for the month. I'll give you the list of 7, okay? I'm not going to explain each one. There's one for sales. Sales sales is opposite purchases. Then you have 2 for the returns of this. Sales returns and purchase returns here. I got the, we're going to do what your return contract. We're going to pay the return contract. Book. So what are the, now you know how many? 4. Sales, purchases, sales returns, purchase returns. Sales returns and purchase returns. Now you need to look at me. Sometimes when I lecture, you need to look at me. When I say look at me, I'm going to animate something. So then you'll remember. Sale, return. Sale, return. Return is going to inwards. Returns inwards. Sales returns is also called returns inwards. That's another name for sales returns. Okay. That's another name. Purchase, return. Purchase, return. Returns outwards. So sales returns is called what? Returns inwards. Purchase returns is called what? Returns outwards. So 4 books you know. Sales, purchases, returns inwards, returns outwards. Or sales returns day book, or purchase returns day book. Day book journal sales returns journal sales return day book same. You can interchangeably use those 2 terms, except in one. I'll tell you what. How do you know? 4. 2 more I'll give you. There's one for cash. It's called the cash book. Cash journal Cash petty cash. So now you know how many? 6. Sales, purchases, sales returns, purchase returns, cash and petty cash. Actually most transactions were higher set. summarize කරන්න බලමු. ඔය හයට සෙට් වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් ඉතුරු ඔක්කොම ටික දාන එක දැනගන්න. General ledger නෙමෙයි. Journal. The journal. So what are the 7? Sales day book, purchase day book, sales returns day book, purchase returns day book, cash book, petty cash book, අන්තිම එක the journal. ඒකට the day book කියන්නේ නැහැ. ඇයි? ඒව එහෙම තමයි. හරිද? ඒකට විතරක් day book කියන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකට කියන්නේ the journal. අර හයටම සෙට් වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් කුණු කොට වගේ අරකට දැම්මා. Okay? Because there are too many other types of transactions. ඒක එක තැනක summarize කරපුවා ඇති කියන අදහස. So what does this do? What do day books or journals do? Summarizes the amount of transactions that are entered in the day book and ledger. What the day books or journals do is come and other in the command. I'm not going to first all ask you about journals and day books, but you need to know something, okay, about these areas also. So what they do is it summarizes the amount of entries that go into the ledger. So now this is another example of summarizing. Now you know two. Balancing of accounts is summarizing. The journals is another example of summarizing. One of the activities in financial accounting. Clear? Next one. Kian? Okkamala. Trial balance. Trial balance. Coming back to this. Okay? Trial balance. Now, by now, all the accounts have what? A balance. Every account has a balance. The balance account balance. Now, this account had what kind of balance? Okay, again. Debit. So we assign the balance by the side. We say the account has a debit balance, or we say the account has a credit balance. දෙක තියෙන්න බෑ. Debit and credit balance තියෙන්න බෑ එකම account එකේ. හරිද? එහෙම තියෙන්න බෑ. So now at the end of the month, what do we have now? Every account has what? Either a debit balance or a credit balance. Now these balances මේ ආවේ කොහොමද මුලින්ම? Balances are because of these transactions that we did, no? Transactions that we recorded, no? ඒවා record කරේ කොහොමද? Every time a transaction was debited, we created the same amount somewhere else, no? Although you don't know how to do that, the principles, I told you that's how it's done. Are you with me? Yes. Emma debit or credit or debit. Now, each of those accounts, hamma account ek balance kar de. Balance karpo you get a balance either on the debit side or credit side. Now you have a list of debit balances, a list of credit balances. What can you say about these two?
Should be balanced.
That should also be equal. The total of, not the number, the total value of debit balances should be equal to what? The total balance of credit balances. The total amount of credit balances. Total value. I am in debit credit kala me aave. Are you with me?
Yes.
ඒක එහෙමද කියලා බලන එක තමයි ට්‍රයල් බැලන්ස් කියන්නේ. ඒක එහෙම වෙලාද? වෙලාද නැද්ද කියලා බලන එක තමයි ට්‍රයල් බැලන්ස් කියන්නේ. So trial balance actually looks like this. Okay? It's a statement. Okay? Account එකේ නම ලියුවා. Account එකේ TB. TB කියන්නේ tuberculosis නෙමෙයි trial balance. හරිද මෙතන ඉන්න. හරිද? දැන් TB කරනවා. දැන් TB එක account එකේ නම ලියුවා. balance එක debit නම් මෙතන ලියුවා. account එකේ නම ලියුවා. balance එක credit නම් මෙතන ලියුවා. කොහොම accounts වල balance ටික ලියාගෙන යනවා. debit එක මේ column එකේ ලියනවා. credit එක මේ column එකේ ලියනවා. ලියලා මේක එකතු කරලා බලනවා. සමාන වෙනවද කියලා. We are trying to see whether we have so far done this debiting crediting properly. ඒකයි check කරන statement එකට කියනවා මොකද්ද? What's the name? Trial balance. Got it? Okay? That's what it is. Trial balance එක හදන්නේ financial statements හදන්නේ. ඒක කරන්නේ P&L balance sheet අදන් ඉස්සරේ ඔක්කොම දැන් ගොඩද කියලා බලන්න. Okay? Then you go to do the financial statements. Financial statements is our lesson tomorrow. Okay? So I'm not going to go into that. I'll explain all of this tomorrow. First thing in the morning, that's what we're going to do. At 8 o'clock, not 9 o'clock. Okay? Just checking. Then there's a dotted line. We come to that. What's the next one? Analysis. Right. That means that's what you are going to do for the assignment. Okay? That's the next thing in the process. Next activity in the process. I mean dotted line නැද්ද? මොකක්ද මේ dotted line එක කියලා non accountant කෙනෙක්ට කියන්න පුළුවන්. මොකක්ද මේ dotted line එකේ significance ඇයි එතන dotted line නැද්ද? End of not financial accounting. Bookkeeping අන්න. End of financial accounting කියන්නේ ඉතින් ඔයාලට එකක් මොකක්ද කියන්නේ මේ financial accounting කියන්නේ විතරද කියන්නේ? End of bookkeeping. මතකයිනේ? අර බෝල දෙක BK FA. All right. Okay. Look at these two terms. What are the two terms? Cost accounting. Right. Let me explain that. You can slowly read what is there, but I will explain that first and again. Just read it, will you? Doesn't matter. Just read. You may not understand when you read, but doesn't matter. I'll explain it. මේ අයිනේ බෝලන්නේ බෝලන්නේ මම තේරෙනවා ඒක හරිද? Financial, sorry, cost accounting and management accounting බෝල දෙක ඕවා වගේ. CA තියෙන්නේ MA ඇතුලේ. CA කියන්නේ මේකට chartered accountant ලාට නෙමෙයි. Cost accounting කියන්නේ. What is CA here? Cost accounting. Hurry, but we'll have fun. So, cost accounting is a part of what? Management accounting, MA. Huh? Now the question is, what is CA and what is MA? Cost accounting is this. Look at the name, cost accounting. It has something to do with cost. Now, one of the things that we need to know in a business is what? The cost. Why is it so important for us to know the cost? If you don't know the cost, how can you price? I mean, there are other reasons why you need to know the cost, but the fundamental reason is your pricing will be all out now. How can you have the right pricing if your costing is all wrong? Costing again, costing executive, costing clerk. Costing කියන්නේ යා කරන්නේ මොකද තමයි? Cost accounting එක lock කරලා තමයි costing කියලා දාන්නේ. දැන් තේරෙනවද? Cost accounting, costing. Actually, that's not a very good term, but you get positions also. So what does a cost accounting function do? It does exactly what it says. It helps you to arrive at the cost. Cost of what? Cost of a product, cost of a process, cost of a feature. It could be even a feature. It could be a change in process. Not only the product. Say for example, let's say telco. The Etisalat. Let's say Etisalat is here, right? Etisalat will say they give you an added feature to the existing customers. They must know what the cost of that feature is to see whether that additional cost is justified by the increase in revenue or increase in loyalty or whatever. Cost of anything you need to work out. So working out the cost is also an area within management accounting. Why? Because cost related information help in managerial decision making. And because it's a very important and fundamental area, we isolate it and say cost accounting. Because there's a lot of work there. Because depending on the nature of your business, how you arrive at the cost itself differs. Now, for example, if you take your car to the, say, service place, they work out their cost based on something called job costing. Why? Each car is a job. Why? Here they put the filter, for the other one they only put the oil. Got it? Or they put power steering oil also there. Here, so you have to cost it differently. So it's a job costing. Are you with me? Certain products, the type of costing is job costing. Say if you're producing this, look, everybody look. If you're producing markers or something, you can't do job cost. These are produced in batches. So you do something called batch costing. So the batch is costed. Then if your production is something like, liquid in nature. Say you make ice cream, you make chemicals, industrial chemicals, you make paint. එතකොට ඔය දෙකෙන් එකක්වත් හරියන්නේ නැහැ. ජොබ් එකකුත් නෙමෙයි, බැච් එකකුත් නෙමෙයි ඒක. It's a process. So you have something called process accounting. Yeah. So there's a lot of work involved in this. And then there's something called marginal costing, absorption costing, some of which you learn in this course as well. So මේ cost accounting as well සෑහෙන වැඩ කොටසක් තියෙනවා කරන්න. Right? But there's a part outside that which is still about decision making, managerial decision making. So what is that? The rest of the management accounting. Got it? But cost accounting is still a part of management accounting. That's how we need to understand this. Clear? Everyone with me? Okay. So what is cost? This is actually one of my definitions. You won't find this in any book. Huh? This is Mario Fonseca. Copyright. Copyright and I like to think of cost in this way. Say the definition. It is a result of the consumption of a resource for a particular purpose. Now I know a lot of people don't think of cost in that way, but think about it. Isn't that true? Isn't that what cost is? Cost is, yes, it's an expense. Yes, it's an expenditure. It's a commitment. It's a payment. All that is true. But isn't this also true? Cost happens. Not it the result. Sorry. Is the result. Make is current. Sorry. English put the it. You make it is and is the result of the consumption of a resource for a particular purpose. Is the result? Can cost is the result? The reason why I particularly came up with this definition is, you see, cost is something that we like to do. What do we like to do with cost? Increase it? More than reduce? Give better word? Manage, yeah. Another smaller word like manage? Control. Cost we like to control. So if you want to control cost, you need to get to the root cause. No? So the root cause of cost is resource consumption. If you want to cut and control cost, you need to cut and control resource consumption, nothing else. Resource consumption in some form or the other. You can't attack cost. Think about it. And it's a bit of a deep thing. If you really think about it, when you're driving back, think about this. Of all the things we talked about today, just think about, isn't that true? And if you disagree, we'll have a little chat tomorrow. Okay? I do a elective back in Colombo called Cost Analysis and Management. It's an elective. Now, that is all about this. It's about how you manage and control cost. How can we do that? Alright? Okay, this is basic. You have done economics, right? Economics learning? Professor Fonseca, Mr. Fonseca and listening. Me or the me I was part of curves. AC, MC, AR, MR. MR marginal revenue. Okay. So this is, I'm not going to explain this. This insult on intelligence if I explain. Because Mandana made what I'm total average but insult not game my explain grande. Alright, good evening. Make the variable. Make a total, make a average. Make a fixed. Total and average. Got it? Okay. Very good. Last. And that was it. Antima bowling. Bowler throwing parang financial government bowler, management government bowler, make up bowler. What is the innermost circle? And right. WCM කියන්නේ working capital management. එළිය තියෙන කෑල්ල SFM. That is your next subject. I told you. The more competent lecturer will come and teach you. Okay? I told you we'll do the next subject. That was not a sarcastic comment. It's actually good. You'll love him. He's fantastic guy. SFM. What is SFM? Strategic financial management. මේ තියෙන පොල්ලෙන් ගෙවුවා ඉස්සරහ දීලා බලලා කියන්නේ. Strategic financial management. දෙකම එකතු කරපුවම financial management. Right. Okay. So what's the difference? What is WCM? Yeah, I know, but what does that mean? The difference here is very simple. Look at me. Everyone look at me. Working capital management is about, now remember I told you financial management is about what? Sourcing of funds and deploying or investing. When that sourcing and deploying is about the short term. Now in economics you call short run. Here we don't say short run but short term. In finance we don't say run. Right? So in the short term, when financial management is done, it's called what? Working capital management. When financial management is done in the long term, it is called what? Strategic financial management. May become a financial management. All right. Then there. Clear? All right. Put a usman ni amaru again. Taan wenne third fourth lesson node usman ganna nade wadu. Em kolama gipa eකට ඇත්තට usman ganna. දාද වල කවුරුත් එහෙම කරේ නැහැ මොකද අත්තම ආරු කෑව ආවේ නැහැ. So okay. Clear? By the capital structuring කියන්නේ the strategic financial management කියලා දානවා. Because you will understand that. When Roddy explains that, you will understand. Roddy is the guy who does that subject. Okay? That's when you do the next time, next financial subject. Okay, I'm not even going to go there. I'll do a little bit of capital structuring, very tiny bit. I'll give you a little taste of it in this subject. But you will go into deep in that subject later. Okay, we are done. Great. Thank you very much. Good night.